Welcome back to Origami Snowman. My name is Matt. Did that seem like that ball went real slow? I don't know. I'm gonna do a thing today. I'm a big believer in liking yourself. I'm a big believer in you know giving yourself you know permission to be authentic. But I think it's also really important that we know ourselves. And sometimes that's harder than you might think. So, what I have decided to do, just, to set an example for all of you people who are waiting for me to, tell you how to live your lives because there's so many of you. Oh my goodness. I'm going to interview myself to get to know myself, to help like myself more. I Googled interview yourself and I found a list of 34 questions. And I didn't read them before I told myself, you're doing this. You're going to do it. You're going to do it. And so I jotted them down. I like in kind of like a shorthand. And so some of these are hilariously you know, poorly worded, but I'll do my best to put them into complete sentences. That was a decent little shot there. I was gonna do 34 holes, 34 questions, and then I just right out of the gate started playing. Because you can't have dead space. The people don't like dead space. Because that would hurt my content, apparently. I don't know. Okay, question 1. What do you do for a living? Although what I wrote down was do for living, question mark. As if these weren't all questions I needed to punctuate. Okay, what do I do for a living? I am a school bus driver. I also am a trainer for our transportation facility. So, why did I keep thinking that's going to work? So, if someone comes to us wanting to be a school bus driver and they need to get their license and all the other documentation, I would walk them through that entire process and I help them learn the 200-point inspection and the 3-point brake check. And I teach you how to parallel park a bus, which sounds intimidating, but is actually not hard. We have all sorts of little tips and tricks, and I've said it before. It's probably my favorite thing to teach. So fun, yay. I also am an author, although I don't make a living doing. Oh, there it's. How did it manage to get back there? I would love to make a living as an author. I would love to make a living as a YouTuber. But I'm just not with these videos. Let's be honest. This isn't gonna. These videos, these desert golf videos, aren't gonna make me any dimes. According to the IRS, I make my living as a school bus driver and a trainer. Boom. There we go. The second question, according to my ham-fisted shorthand, is do you love? Do you love? I do love. The question is, who do you love? I love my darling wife of 20, almost 22 years. It'll be, oh, there goes the ball. We were married in 2002. There, over the thing again. So coming up this summer, it'll be 22 years. And I love her dearly. Question 3. Do you have enough money? This is a weird question that I'm going to make into a joke. For what? Am I buying a burger? Am I buying a car? I have plenty of money for a burger. I don't have enough money for a car. I mean, I do. I'd have to like sell some property like my house. But, that's tricky. I am not a consumerist type person. I love to thrift shop, but not like to resell. I only buy things that I want. You know what I mean? I'm not money minded. I grew up very, very poor. So for me to look around at my life right now and say I don't have enough money seems very ungrateful considering what I came from. But I do hear from my wife, who I mentioned in a previous question, that maybe we could have some more money. or at the very least, stop spending the money we do have. So we're working on that. Question 4, are you healthy? Question 5, no, not particularly. I got a lot of problems, both in my body and in my mind, but we're working on all of that. Question 5, do you think you're a good person? I think I am. I have the potential to be a better person. I think that's a dangerous question, because if you look at yourself and you say, I'm a good person, there's something in your mind that goes, good job, you've arrived, you can stop now. And then we stop growing. And and when we stop growing, we stagnate. And stagnation causes rot. And when you have rot in your soul, that's not good. And you become jaded and you become disillusioned and you start to see the world only from your perspective. And that does not a good person make. So I think I could be a good person. I need to keep working on it. I don't ever want to say I'm good enough. I'm fine. I've made it. All right. I don't want to be done. I don't ever want to look at myself and think, great. This is as good as I want to get. I don't like that. I want to always be getting better. I always want to be growing as a person. Question 6, how old am I? I am currently 46 years old, which sounds so very old. Even to me, not just to teenagers and like millennials, but like to me, to this flabby Gen Xer who's holding a notebook with one hand and playing games on his phone with the other. Yes, I sound old. I feel old. I'm old. Okay, question 7. Who's my best friend? My wife is my best friend. But that seems like not maybe the question you want. Probably the person who I would say is my best friend is this fella named Brian, who I've known for 18 and a half, 19 years. I met him when I was in my mother-in-law's backyard trying to cut up a tree that had someone had cut, and in the midst of cutting down the tree had suffered a heart attack. And so while they recovered, I was finishing the job. That's the whole story. I wasn't alone. I was there with my brother-in-law, but all we had were these little hand pruning saws. And then this guy comes around the corner with a chainsaw and he's like, hey, y'all need some help. And that was the first time I met Brian. If you're going to make friends, it helps to bring a chainsaw to the party. That's usually, if I'm at a gathering and somebody shows up with a chainsaw and seems not toxic, there's a good chance I'm going to probably try to be friends with that guy. So Brian and I, I tell you what, we've been on some journeys over the last almost 20 years. We've had, we've made videos together. He edits my novels, gives me amazing advice. I've learned to trust him almost without question. He is the godfather to my children. He's just the most peaceful, thoughtful guy I've ever known. And he's just a good dude. Just a good dude. So we have this joke that he knows everyone. He knows absolutely everyone. I'm not going to tell you his last name because you'll go, oh yeah, I know him. But I was once in a hostel in Belgrade, Serbia, and I met there's another American there, and when he found out where I was from, when he found out, oh, you're from Fort Wayne, he asked, do you know a guy named him, my friend? And I was like, you are effing kidding me. It's not even a joke anymore. It's true. It's the thing. It's real. Everybody knows him. He was on a missions trip once in Poland and ran into, randomly, a neighbor that he'd had in the Czech Republic. Like, what? How is this possible? So that's my friend. Apparently, he's everyone's best friend. So, all right, next question. What is my childhood dream? When I was a kid, when I was a wee lad, I wanted to be very wee. When I say wee, I mean like 5 years old. I wanted to be a stuntman like Colt Sievers in Fall Guy. I grew out of that real quick and wanted to be a writer, which is pretty cool because I get to do that. And if you don't need to make money doing it, you get to just write whatever you want. It's pretty great. If you want to make a living, you got to write what people want to read. And then you got to also be good at networking, which I am not. I am not good at networking. I'm just not. You guys, we only have 500 holes to go. This is great. But for a very long period of time, I wanted to be a youth pastor because it looked to me like youth pastors didn't actually do much except hang out. And I figured I'm already doing that. So anyway, but I also kind of realized that they have a lot of responsibility and they have a lot of influence. And I got old enough and I was mature enough to know that I'm not good with power or influence. I sometimes I screw up and I don't take into consideration the true needs of others, and I can be very harmful. I have hurt a lot of people, not realizing that I have influence, and so I find it best to just stay out of it. So no longer do I want to be a youth pastor. Also, I'd have to work in a church, and I disagree with a lot of what goes on in some of those places sometimes, and so let's just avoid the argument and move on. So I would say the one thing that I've wanted to do that kind of has panned out was be a writer, which is terrific. You can buy my books on Amazon, Matt Beers. The two I would recommend, The Blood Pines, and more recently, Secretly Kings. They're both very good. They're coming of age stories. The Blood Pines has lots of walking in the woods, and Secretly Kings has punk rock and swears. So if you like punk rock and swears, then Secretly Kings is definitely for you. If you like walks in the woods, The Blood Pines. Anyway, nice. What's my next question? How often do you laugh? As often as is necessary. I've never clocked it. I don't know what my laughs per minute are. What is an average LPM? I don't know. I would say I laugh often. I like to laugh. Sometimes I find things absolutely hilarious and I don't laugh. Usually I'm just mesmerized that someone subverted expectations and arrived at a brilliant joke. I appreciate humor tremendously. If it's stupid, I'm not going to like it. But anyway, what makes you smile? I really like it when I encounter someone who is A, having a good day, and B, appreciates that they are having a good day because maybe they don't often have a good day. I've got a 5th grader on my bus who he knows when he's having a good day. And you have never seen a more unashamed smile on a kid's face than when he's just like, maybe not any specific thing has happened, but he's just feeling good. That kid will get on my bus just grinning madly. And I love that. That makes me very happy. That makes me smile. Let's see. Who's my most dangerous enemy? There's a squirrel who lives in my backyard. No, I'm just kidding. It's me. I am my worst enemy. At the age of 46, I thought I would have actual enemies, like Russian spies and stuff. But boy, I tell you, if the Russians are spying on me, they are. I mean, you know how much fun you're having right now. They watched me make the video, and now they're gonna watch me edit the video, and it's just awful. Those poor guys. So no, me. I'm my own worst enemy. I make terrible decisions, often knowing that it's a terrible decision. I hurt people by saying things that I thought were funny, and I eat food that I shouldn't eat because it's delicious. I don't exercise because I don't feel like it. It's me, my own worst enemy. We got to move on. We're only on question 11, and I got 23 more to go. Get on the... that was not bad. Okay, where do you live? In a house. Fort Wayne, Indiana. That's it. That's all you're getting. Do you think you're strong? I think I can be strong. I think strength is a funny thing. Sometimes I'm strong in certain ways. I think certain. I was raised to not talk yourself up, not to not to ask for more than you're given. I was raised to just be thankful for what you have. And that means everything, anything at all. Like you literally, I was never taught to stick up for myself. It just, no, I will tell you, my whole life, my mom was like, don't ever hit, don't ever do this, don't blah, blah, blah. One time we found my brother's old boxing gloves. Why he had boxing gloves, I'll never know. But we found them in the garage. And so my sister put on some and I put some on, and she just hauled off and walloped me right across the face. And my mom goes, well, hit her back. No, I was taught never to hit. Like, and so I was told don't hit, don't ever do blah, blah, blah. And then when faced with the need to do so, I found myself completely paralyzed. I didn't know what to do. So what was I even talking about? Do I think I'm strong? So I think I can stick to my guns, stick to my morals. I can be stubborn when I feel like I need to be, when it's important. But I've been learning lately to stick up for myself. If somebody is picking on me, if someone's teasing me, if someone's saying things that actually hurt my feelings and they think they're being funny, then I need to say something. At the very least, it won't do any good because if if someone who is in their 40s and has known you for 20 years is saying things that hurt your feelings, they know what they're doing. They're doing it on purpose. Like they're not like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were sensitive about that. No, they know. And so I would normally have just let that go. But lately I've been saying, hey, absolutely, please stop. That is hurtful. You can't just say mean things about me all the time. That's not okay. So I've been sticking up for myself lately, which I think is a form of strength, especially when you were taught not to do that. I think I'm learning to have good thoughts about myself. I'm learning to notice the good things about me and to say things like, I wrote some novels and they're very good, but also having enough self-awareness to say, I wrote some other novels that I'm not so happy with. And to be able to say that and also know that that doesn't define you. Those novels that you're not so proud of, no, that doesn't mean you're a bad writer. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't ever try ever again. Overcoming failure, especially when I'm terrified of failure, that's a form of strength. So I think I can be strong, but I think in other ways I have no willpower. So that's not great. Not a very disciplined person. I'm strong in some ways and not in others. For example, I'm not good at giving a straight answer. I ramble all over the place. Say, oh, no, no. Oh, hey. I feel like I should get extra credit for that one since I made that hole twice. What is the most important thing I've done so far? The thing that I have done that has impacted my life the most was marrying my wife. However, I don't think that's what it means. The most important thing that I have done so far, apart from family decisions, getting married and having kids and all that good stuff, I would say the most far-reaching impact more than likely is one of my novels, because I can't say for certain. I've had people say, oh, it's so good, I think about them all the time. One of my books, so strange, someone I went to high school with, my latest book, which hasn't even been out a year yet, she said she's read it 3 times. Like, awesome. Thank you. You can only read each copy once, so every time you want to reread it, you have to buy another copy. I don't know if people know that about books. Anyway, so I think I received a letter from a young man in Canada who had been given a copy of my first book, The Blood Pines, and he doesn't read, but he read it and he said it changed him. It changed everything, and I that meant so much to me. And so I want to I would like to say that maybe my writing, maybe that's the most important thing I've done so far. What's the stupidest thing I've done? I've told this story before, but I once found myself on the business end of a police officer's service revolver. So that, maybe not revolver. I couldn't tell if it was a revolver. I was shaking too bad. Everything was a blur. I was forced out of a van at gunpoint once and then patted down and sent on my way when he realized these aren't criminals. They're just idiots. So, yeah. So that was one of the dumber things I've done. Oh, boy. He thought we were trying to break into a church, but we weren't. We were trying to break into a house, not a church. I know a church is a house of worship, but the different house. I've told that story. Go digging, go looking, see if you can find it on one of my videos. You have to watch every single one to find it, to be sure. Do you love yourself? No, I don't. I'm learning to like myself, though, so that's a good start. What's my greatest fear? I will tell you three of my greatest fears that I live with daily. Fear of failure. That moment where you realize, oh nope, I'm not good enough. This is the end, and it's official. I am not good enough at the thing that I want desperately to be good at. That's a fear. I am terrified of water. I nearly drowned a couple times. Once, a cousin held me underwater for a very, very, very long time. He thought it was hilarious, and everyone who was there, I mean, there were probably 20 people there. Not one person stepped in to help me. I was 12. He was in his late 20s. So I have developed a genuine, anxious, upsetting fear of water. And crowds without a purpose, really upset me. They really upset me. When I say without a purpose, I mean that shambling, like when you're at a baseball game, like a minor league baseball game. When I'm sitting in my seat, I don't mind because that's my seat. This is my place. I know where to be. I know what it's expected of me. I rented this chair and I'm going to use this chair for the duration of the game. But then the game is over and everyone has to leave. And everyone has to leave at the same time. And so you got a few thousand people shuffling, taking these little half steps, breathing on each other, farting and coughing and being gross. And I'm looking around to make sure I didn't lose one of the kids and make sure that everybody's still together. And, I get a little panicky. My heart races and I don't like it. So those are my fears. Obviously, one of my greatest fears is losing a loved one. That is, I think everyone has that. Fear, I think, just makes us realize what we value. That was okay. That worked. I think fear, if you're afraid of losing a loved one, that's terrific. It means you have loved ones. Not everyone can say that. It's good for you. Fear of losing a loved one is a big deal. But all right, favorite word. Off the top of my head, hippopotamosesquippedaliophobia. It's the fear of long words, which I think is hysterical because if you have it, you can't even talk about it. I mean, you can't even go to therapy. It's terrifying. So I think that's just a very fun word. I believe it started out as a much shorter word, but the people just kept adding to it just for the lulz. Who said that psychologists can't be funny? Nobody. I've never ever heard anyone say that, so I don't think that's ever even been a topic for discussion. Favorite word, last time you cried. This is dumb, but just a couple days ago, I was finishing Yumi and the Nightmare Painter, and it has a very, very, emotional ending. That's all I'll say. I did cry. Yep, Brandon Sanderson made me cry. we'll shush about that. Moving on. I'm never going to mention that again. Best thing that could happen right now. Not like in the world peace, an end to disease and hunger. Yeah, but to me personally, some kind of professional success that validates my suspicions that I might be better than I think. You know what I'm saying? Like if this YouTube channel suddenly, for whatever reason, exploded, and I woke up tomorrow and I had like 100,000 subscribers or something crazy, that'd be amazing. That would be insane. If suddenly, oh, my guts are rumbling. That's terrifying and horrible. I'm so sorry. If you heard that, great. If not, it didn't happen. It didn't happen. You didn't hear it, so it didn't happen. If suddenly, like, my books became bestsellers, that would be incredible. Now, that's what I think the best thing that could happen to me is. But I'm pretty sure the architects of my life know better and know that something far better for me is in the works. And this is why I'm not in charge. Because I think like a child. I think, oh, give me all the wins. And, what is the worst thing that could happen right now? Losing a loved one. That's always going to be the case. Losing a loved one. Picture yourself 5 years from now. I have written at least 3 more novels. Let's say 2. At least 2 more novels. I would love to have fixed the Whithersoever series. Those are 3 novels that need a lot of work. I published them anyway. But I plan on going through and fixing them. So maybe that's something I will have done, and I'll be happy with that. More novels. Happy, still going strong. My kids are growing up. They're finding their way in the world. They're deciding who they're going to be and how to come to terms with the world as they are. Hopefully they don't feel like they have to change to find happiness, but maybe they want to change. And if they do want to change, hopefully they find peace in the change. So 5 years from now, happily married, successful writer, kids are awesome. All right. Any regrets? Yeah, I got some regrets. I don't want to talk about them because it's all the same stuff that you probably regret. I spoke out of turn. I was not patient when I should have been. I didn't love myself enough in moments where I really needed to. I took things too personally. I didn't take things personally enough. Once, when I was in high school, this girl, Anna Washburn, she came up to me and sat down at our table. I was talking to, I was sitting with 2 of my friends, and she came up, and she was older than us, a year older. She was super cool. And she worked with my mom at the hardware. And she said, your mom was saying that you and I should go out sometime. And I said, oh, yeah, my mom's kind of crazy. And she goes, really? And I said, yeah. I didn't realize she was asking me out. I did not realize she was asking me out, you guys. I'm probably glad I didn't, because let me tell you, that short, 8-minute conversation was about all I could have managed without embarrassing myself. If she walked away from that feeling dejected, I'm so sorry, but trust me, you're better for it. I was in no position to be dating anyone. I was an idiot. I was embarrassing. oh my gosh, no. So if I broke your heart that day, that's the only time that's ever happened. And only because you didn't have all the facts. So, do I regret it? I don't know. No, if I had known that she was asking me out, that might have changed a lot about the way I saw myself. And I saw myself as a geeky, dorky little weirdo. And I was pretty happy being that little weirdo. And so, maybe it's not a regret. I don't think. No, not a regret. I probably could have used the confidence boost, but I don't know. Who knows? Who knows what that would have done to me? I think I needed to cook on low heat for a little while longer. Okay. So no, I don't know. Regrets, but everything's led me to this point, and I'm pretty happy where I'm at. First thing you do in the morning, go to the bathroom. I go to the bathroom, then I get dressed. I come downstairs, make coffee, eat breakfast, go to work. Pretty basic stuff. That's all. It's nothing groundbreaking. It's not like, I meditate for 15 minutes and then I burn sage with an infusion of dillweed. No, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm an idiot. Okay. What are you thinking just before bed? As I'm climbing into bed, I'm usually thinking, why do I ever get out of this thing? Like, so comfortable, so cozy. I just want to always be here. Often this is bad, but when I get into bed, I usually have one earbud in, and I'm winding down by watching people play Among Us. That's one of my guilty pleasures. Those crazy, like 6-hour long live streams of people playing Among Us from like 3 years ago or 2 years ago, or, and you hear them talking about the pandemic, and I don't know. I like those. It's like I'm watching people have fake friends, and I don't know why, but it's very relaxing to me, I used to watch Shubble, Shelby Grace. Shubble, she's a Minecrafter. She plays other games and stuff like that, but she had a lot of good ones that I really enjoyed. And then I started watching like Impulse SV. He's a hermit crafter. MC Skizzleman, who is now a hermit crafter. He wasn't at the time. And at the moment, not my favorite, but he's got a lot of them, is Tango Tech. Not a huge fan of Tango. He's grown on me, but mostly I just enjoy the routine and the repetitive nature and all that stuff. So every now and then B-Dubs comes on. I love B-Dubs. Or Scar's on. Scar's amazing. I like those guys. That's usually what I'm doing when I get into bed. And by the time I unplug and I turn everything off, my brain is fried and I'm not thinking anything. Sometimes I have a hard time sleeping and I daydream or I'll try to piece together stories that I'm working on and just drift off. All right. What is the highest point I've ever been? And this means physically. And I don't really know. I've been in a plane. I've flown over the Atlantic Ocean. Does that count? I think that might be, that's going to have to be it. Because I've been in the Empire State Building, which is now the Willis Tower in Chicago. But yeah, I think the airplane, that's going to have to be it. What would I change if I could? I would slow people down. People are very quick. They're impatient with each other. Instead of trying to, see things from someone else's perspective and say, maybe they had a good reason for doing this thing. Maybe they need something that I don't see. I wish people would just slow down with each other, the way they deal with each other. I wish that we were more understanding and more caring, and I think that starts with being more patient with each other. So, you know what? Woke. Stay woke. Everybody, where I live in Indiana, there's a sign for a politician, and it's conservative Republican. And his platform is to end wokeness and increase freedom. That is so stupid. That is so ridiculous. You want to end woke. You want to end empathy and people thinking for other, like thinking on behalf of other people. Like, you want people to only look out for themselves, because being woke means acknowledging that other people have needs that I might not know anything about, and maybe I shouldn't judge so harshly. But what they see wokeness is saying, oh, well, all the things I disagree with, I have to now agree with. That's not what being woke is. Being woke is saying there might be another way. That's all it is. That's all it is. And wanting to do right by others. Well, how is that a bad thing? And the crazy thing is, the party that claims to be, faith-based, Christian-based, is also the party that wants people to stop caring about others. It's so stupid. And to increase freedom for who? For you. Not for everybody, just for you. Just for you. They're just saying whatever they think people want to hear. They don't actually have a platform. They are just shouting into the void, and the people who live in the void are shouting back, so they think they have... I don't know. It's just dumb. Moving on. I would make people be more patient with each other. That's what I would change. But what are you proud of? I'm proud of my freaking kids, man. They're all amazing. They're all amazing. And there we go. That's what I'm going to say about that one. Sum up your life in one sentence. He's doing his best. There we go. Most annoying thing. People being impatient with other people. That's the thing that annoys me the most. Is when you flat out refuse to acknowledge our differences when you just say, nope, absolutely not. If you don't drive the kind of thing I think you should drive, you're an idiot. If you're, why would you ever do that job? Why would you ever wear those clothes? Why are you... I had 2 kids on my bus today, little kids, elementary school kids, give me grief for my earrings. Like, who do you think you are wearing earrings like that? Now, these are 2 kids I've known for years, and they always give me grief. And so I always tell them I'm a pretty, pretty princess. And, they are, they like that. They like to yell at me for that. Anyway, moving on. Most annoying thing, people just not being patient with each other. Okay. Number 1 question to God. That's an interesting question. That's an interesting thought. Okay. My number 1 question would be, how much longer, man? Like, we're just, it's hurting. Like, the world is hurting, I sometimes feel like we're all, you ever watch, footage of like the Tough Mudder. It's an obstacle course competition, and it's all very muddy, and it's not a race. Some people treat it like a race, but some people it's like, I just got to get to the end. And there's like the incline, the wall, and it's covered in mud, and people are trying to scramble up it, and it's so hard. And some people, they get over and they just go. They just take off. And other people, they get up to the top of the wall and they stop. And they form chains and they help other people up. And man, there's that one guy he's just big. And he just doesn't have any energy left. And he cannot get up that wall. And if there was like one little foothold, if there was just one little foothold, he could get up, get his weight up and get on that wall. Oh. And I would ask God, like, could we have some footholds? Some of us need footholds, man. Some of us are just tired. Some people made it over the wall just fine. And yeah, I see there's a lot of people who waited and they're helping, but if we could get like 1 or 2 footholds, oh boy, that would be awesome. And barring that, how much longer? We about done? Is the sun about burned out? Can we all just be consumed in a blast of super hot fire? That'd be cool. Just credits, roll credits. No post-credit scene. Let's just be done. But that's just me not seeing the big picture and not feeling like things are going to plan. But again, that's me feeling a little hopeless at the moment. I'm sure in a happier time, Matt would have a better question. Do I have secrets? No. What makes you laugh? Funny things? Funny things make... It's not a great list, by the way, that I'm reading from. What makes you laugh? I'm not a people person, not generally. I have my people, and I'd like to think that I'm their person. But I just, Sometimes crowds, I'm pulled in too many directions and I get stressed. And I find myself talking too loud and too fast, and I realize I'm being obnoxious. I don't like that. I don't like I don't like the person that crowds turn me into. But when I'm with my group of people, I always laugh. Like, we make each other laugh. And I think knowing that I'm in a safe place where I'm loved and where my odd sense of humor is appreciated, that really lightens me up and it makes it easier for me to laugh. So my people make me laugh. And finally, question 34. Are you happy? I think for the most part, I am happy. When I think about what could be, or I think about the mistakes that I've made, and I start feeling a little down on myself, and I start, woe is me, oh no, oh, this person did better than me, and blah, 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 that person's thinner, look at this guy who I went to high school with, who always bullied me, who lives down the street from me, he's out for a run without his shirt on, he's my same age, he looks fantastic, I hate him so much. I can talk myself out of being happy. But with happy being like your baseline, I'm not like overwhelmed with life. I'm not like looking at my life and saying, "Can you believe how great it is here?" No, I drive a 20-year-old Honda Accord, and I've zip tied the bumper on. So, at some point I look around and I think, did I make some mistakes? Yeah, I did. But I also look at the other thing I drive, a school bus full of freaking awesome kids. And those decisions that I made allows me to have that in my life. You know what I'm saying? I know that my life would probably be a little easier. There'd be less anxiety and less stress if I worked a job that made more money. But it would introduce an entirely different kind of stress and anxiety. Yeah, I could take my Class B CDL and I could go drive a dump truck for some, like gravel company, and I could drive around and put piles of dirt here and piles of dirt there. But here's the thing. There's nothing for me in the cab of that dump truck. The encouragement and the uplifting, like just the uplifting nature of my current job ceases to exist in a dump truck. Yeah, my cargo is somewhat less loud, probably a little more agreeable. However, I'm in an uncontrolled social environment. The kids help me maintain an appropriate level of like conversation. You know what I mean? You put a bunch of adults together who have, like, you would not believe the conversations we have in the transportation office when the kids aren't around. It's dark. It's either super inappropriate or super angry, or, sometimes it's great. Sometimes we talk about coffee and we talk about soup, but more often than not, we talk about the things that aggravate us. And I'm pretty sure you put me in a dump truck, you surround me with other dump truck drivers, we don't have that that barrier, that buffer that the kids provide. Our conversations would not be healthy. And I would not be a good person. Like, I would be depressed, I would be angry all the time. And that's something that driving a bus really gives me. So, am I happy? I think I'm as happy as I can be right now. If I can get certain aspects of my personality under control, then I think I could be happier. I don't necessarily think any one thing is going to improve my life, but I think, oh, blast. I think I'm as happy as I can be right now. Oh, my word. Is making this hole going to make me a happier person? We'll see. No, I'm not any happier. I'm not any happier. So what is going on? So yeah, 34 questions. Now I get to know myself, and hopefully I can like myself more. That was one of the questions. Do you love yourself? That was hard. No, I don't. But I'm working on it. Am I strong? Sometimes. I'm working on it. That's also part of loving yourself, you know, is knowing where your strengths lie. And also where your weaknesses are, and that your weaknesses don't define you. I'm going to stop right here. I'm going to stop right here. Right here. So thank you guys so much for indulging me in this ridiculously long video that I made. It's probably not going to get seen, but that's okay. This is, again, another therapy session. Thanks so much for watching. I love you guys to death, and I will see you hopefully in the next one. Goodbye.